Hey guys, today I'm gonna be talking to you guys about due enrollment. Should I break down everything I'm gonna talk to you guys about? Also, I'm gonna be looking over here for notes. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what due enrollment is, types of due enrollment, degree classes, or courses if you want to call it that, transferring credits or GPAs, mental health. Well, before we get into mental health, we're gonna talk about the social life at a Durham Road school, or just kind of how that would feel, or just kind of my experience a little bit, or we might do, we figure it out. And then some final takeaways. Okay, so let's get into it. So, what is due enrollment? Basically, you're in college. Sorry. Basically, you're in college and high school. That was accurate. So you're in college and high school. You're in high school, but you're taking college courses, like actual college courses. You're not doing APs. You're not doing IBs. It's more rigorous compared to APs, IBs, because you're taking the real thing. You're in the zone. You're in the mood, and you're taking it. Some people, when doing enrollment, do associate's degrees. Some people earn 2 associate's degree. I've never really heard of 3, but I mean, there are some overachievers here who just want to do 3. You don't need to do 3 associate's degree. You don't even need to do 2. If you can get one done, amazing. Okay, so we already went over, okay, so types of due enrollment. So these are just from my experiences, but there's early college vs middle college. Early college, they usually, I think they advertise to 8th graders. When I was in 8th grade, a couple of my friends, and in North Carolina, this is based in North Carolina, there was this, we do this thing called school lottery, and they did the school lottery to enter into an early college. And at the time I wasn't really interested in doing that because I'm like, girl, what is that? So I never did early college. But basically, early college students usually get to take college courses in their sophomore year, but it depends on your GPA in sophomore year, because some students will not be able to take college courses in their sophomore year if their GPA is low. And then middle college, you're taking college courses in your junior year. But both of these are kind of similar, except, well, no, they're similar in the, well, except early college, you take it earlier. And then for these schools, you, like, the students are actually in a specific building, and like the school whole goal is just college courses, right? There's the traditional due enrollment through college. So let's say you're at your high school, you basically enroll with a community college, or like whatever college that offers due enrollment. There's like a program pathway for that, and you get to take college course credits while staying at your high school. There are some pros into this. If you're athletic or into sports, you get to do sports at your high school and, hype it up. If you were doing early slash middle college, sports life is kind of dull, bland, because there's not a lot of students over there. And I also want to go back and reiterate that early slash middle colleges frequently have limited capacities. I'm thinking it's like 100 students per grade. So like freshmen, they have 100 freshmen, 100 sophomores, so forth. So limited capacity, not a lot of sports life, so you're not going to do sports. Sometimes not a lot of club life, but it depends how that school does club. So extracurriculars activities, you might have to be going up and finding your own, or going to a nearby high school and playing for their team. Okay, so there's program-based dual enrollment, which this could be an early or a middle college, but they're just more program-based. My first dual enrollment school was program-based. They had an engineering and a teaching track. I did teaching. I did not want to be a teacher, so I transferred, and I was like, I'm not really liking the hands-on teaching. I was over it. So I transferred to a middle college where they allowed me to do more of my own stuff and just, yeah. Okay, so we already talked about capacity and competition. Okay, so now let's say you get enrolled into a dual enrollment. Now, the main thing is, first of all, what are you going to do with these college credits? Are you just using it just for transfers? Or are you trying to get an associate's degree and then use that associate's degree towards a job? You don't have to use it towards a job, but looking back, I wish I was thinking towards money. I love money, so you might not love money. but I majored in biological science. So I'm about to get my biological science degree, which is so exciting. But if you look on Indeed right now, you're not making any money with biological science. But I would say any associate's degree, it's kind of helpful because it's a lot better than just a high school diploma in this job market. But also, a degree does not directly translate into you are getting a job. So just to clarify. So yeah, so before you choose your degree, talk to your advisor, but also ask yourself, do I want to get a job with this degree right after high school, or am I just trying to transfer my credits into whatever major I want to do? And what major do I want to do? Like how does that work? Are you just trying to do electives? Like, these are advisor questions. Anyways, so now we're getting into choosing courses. We're not getting into choosing credit courses. We're going to get into more credit hours. So there's 12 credit hours, I think like 10 credit hours, 8 credit hours, 17 credit hours, and 21 credit hours. For your first semester of doing enrollment courses, do not go for 17 credit hours. I will only honestly suggest at least 12 to 15 credit hours. 17 credit hours could be a little hard to navigate because this is your first time in this new field. So you just need to make sure that you have all the power to hit it strong and don't mess it up. And also choosing courses. Actually, we're going to get into that. Go to Rate My Professor immediately to figure out them professors, because a bad professors can determine your grade 100%. So look at Rate My Professor to see what you're getting yourself into, but also don't solely rely on it, but definitely look at what them reviews are saying. So I'm telling you this right now because yeah, look at what them reviews are saying. Okay, so bam, transferring credits. Okay, so you have two options after you do your enrollment. Let's say this is after, right? You can either go as a transfer student or a first year student. I'm going as a first year student, but for a transfer student, you need to make sure your GPA is really high in college because it really determines which university will accept you. And it does work a lot because imagine you have two years of community college or whatever, you have an associate's degree. You can literally transfer to freaking Harvard or like Stanford or just any, but it really depends on your GPA. It really depends on your GPA. And first of all, what major are you transferring to? Like, do you want to stick with that major? Things like this matter. Yeah, I'm doing first year though. So GPA, reality check your GPA in college. You're working with your GPA in college. Lower grades can hurt what transfers you can get into, what schools you can transfer into, can affect scholarships, falling to university, blah, blah, blah. Raising GPA is possible, but stressful. And it's not impossible. Do not let this scare you. It's possible, but you definitely want to be careful and make sure that you're not flunking your courses because it will follow you. And 100%. This is not like high school grades where it disappears. No, this will follow you. 100%. So yeah, that's about it for that. Now let's get into social life during enrollment. So it really depends. I'm solely going to speak on the first type where it's just early/middle college. I went to an early college at first. I would say compared to like a regular high school, it's different, it's smaller. And like I felt like the kids are more like, you can feel the competition in the air. They're more like a little hostile, a little like I know better than you. They're a little bit like ego wise, like kind of here, but it really depends on what school, so don't let this determine you. But that was my experience with that early college. I would say there weren't really any fights. There was dramas because at the end of the day this is high school, but there was not too much, like, because at my public school I had to deal with metal detectors in the morning and possible ludicrous behaviors and just fighting in the hallways. So it was definitely a big step. And then when I transferred to a middle college, the atmosphere was a lot more calmer, no drama. This middle college had a rule against no PDA. So I didn't get to see no couple kissing. So yay for me. I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry to all the couples. What was I gonna say? Early college, middle college. Oh, extracurriculars, activities, and clubs. Some early/middle colleges do not have that many extracurriculars or clubs, and that is such a limitations because remember, you're applying to colleges, you need them extracurriculars. Do not sleep on it. Also, balancing extracurriculars with college courses. That's a little rough, but if you wanted to have a video about that, I think I would be open to doing it. Kind of how I balance my extracurricular activities and kind of what extracurricular activities I did. But yeah, some middle/early colleges do not do a good job with extracurricular activities because I don't know. But at my current school, we have a lot of clubs. A lot. Starting a club is a little challenging because you do have a lot of clubs, but it is definitely a small community. There's still competition. You can feel the competition. Everybody's just it's like so hostile, and it can feel a little isolating and lonely sometimes, especially for me because I feel like people are a little just revolving around their ego a little bit because you're already in college and they just feel like some people just feel like they're better. But that gets me to mental health and burnout. See, you're juggling high school, college, future plans. So burnout is real. If you feel overwhelmed, reach out to your counselors, talk to advisors. Don't isolate yourself and do not fall on your GPA or your grades. Search up your college. Some colleges have free therapy provided for students, but protect your mental health early, never late. And I do want to share my experience about low GPAs because I did stress a lot about keeping a high GPA. I will admit I did have a low GPA when I first came in my freshman year. My first semester ended up with a 3.0 semester GPA. Then my next semester I ended up with a 2.8 GPA, which was that carried my cumulative GPA to a 2.8, baby. Baby, I was stressed. So how I got that up to a 3.3, and when I graduate this degree, I'll end with a 3.4, which is pretty low to other people, but girl, what can I do? But yeah, to get that up, I had to get all A's. But I would want to say before you judge me, around that time when I first came in, I had a lot of problems going on in my life. I had COVID, I had bronchitis, my mom had sicknesses, I had family conflicts. It was a lot, and I was working, and it was a lot to deal with. And I wasn't working one job. I was not working one job. I was working 2 jobs in, I think, 3 or 4 different clubs. So, and I was desperately depressed. So keep that in mind. But yeah, going back to my story about GPA recovery, it is possible. So I worked hard, got my GPA up to a 3.3, and now I should get up to a 3.4. Now you might be like, if I'm in that position, what could I do when I transfer to a university or enter as a first-year student? I honestly enter as a first-year student because I'm going to pre-med track, right? And I want as much credits as I can get to increase my GPA. So at least 3.7, 3.6. Pre-med appreciates a little upward trend, so I'm not too mad about that. Some universities around me can only take 30 credits. Some can take more credits. To get my anticipated 3.4 GPA to a 3.7, I need at least 66 credits. 66 or 60 credits to up it. So that's just like basically like a senior thing to up that to a 3.7, but I have to have like nearly all A's, which people would say it's not that impossible. I've always been an honor roll student. I had really high GPAs all throughout high school, and then boom, a lot of life hit me. And I won't say this year, my senior year, has been any different. I lost my grandma like last year. So I could have been failing still, but I just locked in and I was just like, I can't keep doing this. I gotta make sure my grades are good. I have pre-med on my arms, and if we wanted to get into more of that, But yeah, so I got my GPA up, so do not be nervous about it. There's always a way to up it, so do not make the fear of GPA stop you from pursuing dual enrollment. You can always go also majoring. Like, my plan is to honestly major, because I'm not doing biology again, I'm doing public health. So if I major in public health, most of the credits I did in biological science would probably be counting towards electives, which is not too bad, and I'll just have majors to do. And if I wanted to add more credits, I can always do a major, not a major, a minor in something if I wanted more credits, to up that GPA. But that requires a lot of due diligence on my part and just things like that. So, and there's also post back if you are interested in pre-med and you find yourself in a similar position. Post back helps a lot. But yeah, that's it about dual enrollment. Yeah, have a good day. That's kind of my experience and just everything. Do not be afraid of dual enrollment. Make sure you get it. But final takeaway, dual enrollment is powerful but not easy. It can put you way ahead if you're intentional. Don't let it scare you, just respect it. Research your state plus your options. Also, if your GPA is low coming in like junior or whatever, I would say upward trends help a lot. A lot. So do not give up just because you think, oh my gosh, I ruined it. No. That bounce back is super courageous, and colleges take a good look at that too. So do not be afraid of doing it. I honestly am still in the college process and applying, but I would say among all the schools I applied to, I think I applied to 13. I got into, I can't count. I got into majority of my colleges. I'm still applying, so these colleges are a secret, but I got into a majority of them. My safeties and my matches, and my matches was like 46% acceptance, so it's pretty selective, moderately selective. So yeah, exactly. So, and I got deferred from a 22% acceptance school, but we still need some updates on that. But let me stop talking so much. That's about it for dual enrollment. I hope you understand it all, and good luck.